What's going down, new Fighting Order fans? It's your boy D Mizzle for Rizzle, joined with New and my man Nelson Rios, and this is the podcast for August 1st, 2013. And we have a bevy of topics to discuss. And the main one, which was brought up by Nelson as breaking news a couple of days ago, will be the potential reintroduction of the Xbox One at a conference by Microsoft before Gamescom. And the rumor is that it'll be introduced with tech to compete with the Sony PlayStation 4. So I want to get everybody's thoughts on that. So Newt, what do you think about this potential reintroduction of the Xbox One?
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Microsoft. Yo. Microsoft is dumb and smart at the same time. I already knew from the beginning, with any business, there's, at the end of the day, 99.9% of businesses, their main goal is to make money. And in order to make money, any smart or relevant business person knows it's not about gaining customers, it's about gaining and increasing your clientele, which is the repeat business, those loyal people who are going to stick with you and stay with you. When they look at the backlash that they received from the whole DRM situation, I mean, I've never seen the internet pop like that about video games since probably the $99.99 Dreamcast drop. Surprise, kaboom. So now I think they're reevaluating every single angle, because now, I mean, looking at the economy and looking at where gaming is going, and now they're going to be, I mean, pretty soon consoles are going to be competing against PCs, like for real. And I think this is the first step. So now's the time, like, you need to start off right and really put your foot in the market. And you need to be steady and stable. Otherwise, it's your time. So I think they really realize, look, we got to do what we got to do. Like, I believe it was Sony on the PS3. They didn't actually start making a profit off of it until, like 2 years ago? Maybe 3 years ago is when they actually started making money off of it. So it's a double-edged sword. If they drop the price, great. But wasn't the rumor something like they're gonna have like two different packages, like one with Kinect, one without?
No, they confirmed that like 2 days ago that they will not be dropping the Kinect no matter what they do, because it's such an integral part of the system that it's gonna be bundled. It's gonna be bundled with it regardless.
Good, and that's smart, because on the older podcast we talked about how Sony was able to give the price that they gave because they took their camera out of the bundle. Now we all know how video game accessories go. You know what I mean? If my system can function without any extra accessory, I'm probably not gonna buy it or invest into it. But with what they're trying to do with the Kinect, I think it's very smart to leave it in there. You know, if you gotta take a hit or take a loss on the bundle, fine. But they want those Kinects in the home, because they want developers to tap into Kinect. They want us to use Kinect. And the thing is this, let's say you're someone who doesn't care about Kinect. You know what I mean? Even if you have the Kinect camera, eventually, somebody, somewhere, something, you're going to see that Kinect being used, and one day you're going to want to use it. It's going to get you sooner or later. And it helps Microsoft because it's like it's already in this guy's house. It's only a matter of time before he starts using it. Like, who wants to have a cool accessory like that and not use it? So I think it's a great idea and a great strategy, so we shall see.
All right, good thing. And what about you, Nelson? What do you think about the reintroduction of the Xbox One with a potential $399.99 price tag?
Well, one, I'm just stating the fact. If they do this move, then Microsoft won instantly. Reason why I say this is because of the fact that a lot of people was going to get an Xbox One. But ever since everyone saw that price tag, $499, oh shit, they got to dish out $500. Mainly because of the fact of the console, the fact that it's limited in quantity, and that it comes bundled with the Kinect and a headset. And I believe they're talking about the 12-month gold membership if you reserve that as well. But if like I said if they made it to $399 with the Kinect, that's by far the best thing that they ever did, and they're gonna get sales like indefinitely. But it also leads to, are they gonna put more stock for these stores as well with this price drop if it does go through? Because we still don't have pre-orders at GameStop. We don't have local store pre-orders as of Best Buy, Target, and so forth like that. You have to get everything online. And even so, you're not even guaranteed to get it until maybe next year in February. So I really do hope that Microsoft actually breaks down this deal, releases it for the exact same price of what Sony PlayStation 4 is selling theirs for, and we'll really see who wins the console wars leading into the new 2014 year.
Freeze.
All right. Oh.
Freeze. Nelson, I'm gonna back you up. When you said Microsoft instantly wins, because the big slap to Microsoft's face at E3, like everyone said, was the lower price of the PS4 and the no DRM. Well, that's been removed. So if you take that out of the equation, that jumps back to the point that Nelson just made. And also, despite the fact that Sony did slap Microsoft in the face, almost every gaming website I went to, and even just polling my friends on Xbox Live and Facebook and Twitter, most of them said, I want the PS4 because it's cheaper, but I must admit, the Xbox One has better looking games right now. So if you remove that price factor and the DRM factor, the only thing you have left to really look at is the games. And I mean, in my personal opinion, I am more interested in the selection of Microsoft than I am Sony, because at the end of the day, you're going to want to play games. And I think that's really going to be the proof in the pudding. Like, these games going to really have to really step it up. So, we shall see.
I feel where you're coming from. Like, to me, the reintroduction is Microsoft trying to gain as much goodwill as possible, because having read a few articles about it, it's like after E3 there was this massive internal review of how everything went down. And while it was generally agreed that E3 was very good for Microsoft, the reveal pretty much put them in a hole that they had to dig their way out of, compounded by the fact that while Sony didn't have a great E3, the no DRM and the price point was pretty much a knife in the back and twisting it. So this is Microsoft like removing the knife in their back and trying to re-endear themselves to the public. And they probably, more than, if they're gonna bundle the Kinect with the Xbox One still, they must see it as an acceptable loss in order to regain that consumer confidence in their product, because the last thing they want to do is damage this brand that they've worked so hard for the past 8 years to build up. And they don't want to see that all go by the wayside by a handful of missteps and bad moves. So if it does turn out to be a $399 price tag, I have to agree with Nelson. Like, Microsoft just win the instant, because they have the, like, at this point in time, they have the better games. Like, you've actually seen the games, and what you've seen, it has a lot of people interested, whereas Sony, they haven't shown you what the games are. Yeah, you know they're coming out, but you don't know how they play, how they actually look. And that's a big question, in my opinion, regarding Sony. Like, what do the games look like? What do they play like? How are they going to look? When are they coming out? You don't get that sense of importance from Sony. Maybe we'll find out when Gamescom comes around, but that's where we stand right now. And I know you wanted to bring up another topic, so what's this other topic that you wanted to bring up?
Dear Microsoft, hi, it's me, Rob. I have been a loyal customer of yours since, let's say 2006-ish? No, 2005 is when I got the original Xbox. I just wanted to let you know I really, really appreciate the fact that you are finally now going to start giving me a free game or two a month. But I'm a little shocked. You told me that you were going to give me Assassin's Creed 2 and Halo 3 last month. Sadly, I only got Assassin's Creed 2 and Halo 3 was nowhere to be found. And to my surprise, I saw the free game section pop up with a new selection today. Unfortunately, it was Crackdown number 1. Really? Microsoft? Really? Really? The first Crackdown. That game was dang near a launch title that I can probably get off the internet or at GameStop for, I guarantee, less $1 or cheaper. And this, of all the games, Microsoft, of all the games, this is the one you decide to give to us for free? Like, out of all the games on this console that some people may or may not have, I mean, not even the second Crackdown, the first one, I am befuddled, I am baffled, and honestly, I feel like I have been slapped in the face by you all. Not cool, Microsoft. Not cool. And where is my Halo 3? I'm done.
Well, I do agree with you to an extent. Like, it's a good and bad thing with the free games until the launch of the Xbox One. But the person who's in charge of that program, they kind of need to give us a little bit more current selection with these games, because the games that they've released have been out a good 3 years or more. And it's not that I don't appreciate Assassin's Creed 2, but come on, Microsoft.
They gave us part 2, and what, part 5 is coming out this year?
Like, well, the true part 4 is coming out this year, but
it's the 5th game in the series.
No, it's more than that. It's like you had Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which is the third one, Assassin's Creed Revelations.
That's 4.
Which would be the 4. Then you got Assassin's Creed 3, which would be the 5th game. Then you got the PSP Assassin's Creed, which would be the 6th game.
And out of all those games, they decided to give us the second one. I wonder why.
Well, the second trilogy, well, that story arc is the most popular of all of the Assassin's Creed, so I can understand why, but it's like you said, you can easily go to GameStop and get that game for like $10 or less if it's used. So whoever's in charge of that program, I appreciate your passion for the earlier games in the library, but you got to give us some new stuff, brother. Like, this is one area where I think PlayStation Plus shines. Like, they're giving us new-ish games, not like the new hotness, but stuff that's been out within the last year and a half or so. They're coming with on PlayStation Plus. So, Microsoft, it's a step in the right direction, but it's kind of a small step. You got to make that leap to give us some new games, because you got to give us our money's worth, and this is an area that where PlayStation is kind of beating y'all. So next topic on this segment is with the potential rumor of Microsoft lowering their price to $399. There's the rumor that Sony may lower the PlayStation 4 price to $349.99. So, Newt, what are your feelings on that? that gem that Sony may react in that manner if Microsoft comes with their price drop?
I think right now, if that were to happen, that'd be great. Hey, at the end of the day, we're the ones who got to pay for it. So the cheaper they go, the better for us. And what I'm starting to see is something that I'm actually loving. Is that now Sony and Microsoft are looking at what each other's doing more, and they're competing for our business. And when, if you're a true consumer and you're smart with your money and you really shop around kind of like I do, I don't like to jump on one thing. I like to see what all is being offered for my dollar. Whoever gives me the best value, that's usually who I go with. Unless, another company just offers me, a better product. Even though it may cost me more, if it's an overall better product and will provide me with a better experience, I'm going to go with that. And it looks like the result of them actually competing, truly competing, we're going to be the winners. And that's the way it should be. They should be competing for our business. They should be slashing prices. They should be trying to outdo the competition by saying, hey, buy my console, here are the benefits. Oh no, buy my console, here are our benefits. I love to see that. Because that's going to translate into a whole bunch of things. I mean, maybe game prices might drop. Maybe there'll be more sales. Maybe there'll be more specialists. But Sony doing that, that's a smart move, Sony. I mean, Sony had a chokehold grip with the PS1 and the PS2, in my opinion. I had over 120 PS2 games at one point, maybe more than that. So that's hot. And also, now looking at it from that perspective, I've always said to myself, because I don't make a huge salary, I can only afford one console. But as they get cheaper, maybe now this will afford me the opportunity to actually truly get both within a reasonable amount of time. If I can do that, that would be great. I would love to own both systems and benefit from both. But, again, only time will tell. As I stated in my own little segment I have, it's just so much new news coming out every day with these two systems and stuff. To me, at the end of the day, it's going to help me decide on which one to get first, is to go ahead and let them come out and see which one actually lives up to what they say. And I have another little tidbit to give y'all later, but that's all I got to say about that.
All right, Nelson, what are your feelings on the PlayStation 4 potentially dropping to $349.99 if Microsoft makes this move, which a lot of people expect them to do before Gamescom?
Well, I just have to say that price drop is not going to affect my decision at all. I'm still going to get an Xbox One first, regardless of what happens. PS4, yeah, $350. Good job. You're making it easier for me and everyone else to buy you. Then again, why the hell would I buy a console that doesn't have anything good except for 3 games? Let's be realistic here. I don't need Infamous. I don't need Killzone. And I don't need, what is it called? The Order? I'm assuming that's what it's called. I don't need that either. Every other game that you guys own, or supposedly did own as an exclusive, Microsoft has them. I can just go to Xbox, get everything, and then some. And there's more for launch. The only thing that you guys share the same thing with Microsoft is, the sports games from EA? And that's it. And Call of Duty, and that's it. So, to me, honestly, it's not really going to affect my decision. I can easily get up right now and go reserve a PlayStation 4 than rather get up and order an Xbox One. Because they're trying to make it easier for the people to get the console, but at the same time, you're not offering me shit when I get it. So, sorry to say, but you could drop all your prices all you want. I'm still going to be disappointed when I get the console. Leave it here like I did with my PlayStation 3 for almost 2.5 years before I actually started playing this shit. So.
Damn.
Somebody needs a hug.
What I think, I agree with Noob that it's a good thing that they're actually competing and paying more attention to each other. And what's kind of surprising to me is that all this is happening before the launch. Like, this isn't, okay, system's launch, we're gonna drop price and see what the other person does. This is like actually real in the field. Like, hey, we want your business out of the gate, and if this is what we have to do, so be it. We're willing to take that hit initially in order to get you to get our console. And I also agree, like, at the end of the day, the gamers do win because they're making it cheaper to afford both consoles, whereas before you can either get one or the other unless you were like balling or you had some kind of unless you had parents that were kind of spoilish and bought you both consoles. But I own a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360, and I have to say I rarely use my PlayStation 3, but I do appreciate them competing for my business. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna win, because if prices keep getting lower and lower, I'm gonna end up owning both systems. Because while PlayStation doesn't have a lot of games that I normally play, does have a handful, like MLB The Show, that I enjoy. So if I'm able to get PlayStation 4 for cheap, I can get MLB The Show on PlayStation 4 and enjoy that. So kudos to Sony on that one right there. And another big thing is a major retailer in England is gonna no longer stock the Wii U after they sell their stock, what they have in their inventory. It's a retail store chain owned by Walmart in England. Is 555 stores, and once they sell their stock of Wii U's, they're not gonna restock, meaning they're gonna drop the console altogether, which is a big thing because this is like the largest retailer in England. So to me, this is the first domino in a long, slow car wreck that's going to happen to Nintendo over the next year, because I said by E3 next year they're going to be third party, and this is the first step in that, in my opinion. So Newt, what do you think about that?
I mean, the thing is this, Nintendo, I really, if any Nintendo rep or anybody who's a Nintendo fan sees this, I'm not a Nintendo basher. Nintendo has given me some of the greatest childhood memories I can think of. I mean, from slapping my Nintendo on the side, to blowing the cartridges, to sticking it in so that when you push it down, it crunches against the front of it. For some reason, I thought that made the games work better. But the thing is, Nintendo, your hardware is evolving, but your software didn't evolve. In today's gaming market, man, I mean, the kids are different. The kids are different, I mean, the Wii's market is like for females and maybe like a second or third grader. Because having experience in education, knowing fourth graders and fifth graders, they want to play 360. They want to play PS3. If you mention a Nintendo console outside of the DS, they'll look at you like you're on drugs. Like, what? What? I mean, at the end of the day, it's the content that your content is not drawing the audience like it used to, because people are different. Back in my day, I'm done, yo. I'm done. Back in my day, man, I love Nintendo, and I hate to see them going the route that they're going in terms of their business not doing that well anymore, and them on their way out like that. But I mean, that's just the way it goes with business, man. Either you keep up or you get out. I mean, that's just the way it is. You're playing with the big boys. Microsoft and Sony has the backing, because Microsoft, they do everything. Sony, they do everything. So Nintendo, I don't know what you're gonna do about this, man, but something has to happen.
All right, to that point, it's like they only shipped 130,000 consoles in the past 3 months, not in the past month, in the past 3 months worldwide, which brings their total up to about 3.1 million shipped, which is pretty bad considering the console came out around Christmas last year. So, 3 million consoles in about 8 months is not hitting it. What do you think about that, Nelson? What do you think about the fate of Nintendo going forward?
As I stated before in previous podcasts, Nintendo is completely dead. You should just stop making games, end your life,
Wait, don't say stuff.
and let it be done. Microsoft and Sony has clearly shown you that they're like the giants in the gaming industry. You had your time, almost, I say 20 plus years. You had a good run. Just stop. Just stop and die. Because you're not doing anyone any goddamn favors. The only thing that you're solely doing right now is making the Nintendo DS popular. When it comes to consoles, you've been sucking since the Nintendo Wii. And it's been doing worse ever since. Because I'm going to just put it on blast right now because I don't give a shit. When I bought the Wii, it took me about a week before I modded it and said, fuck that, I'm getting everything for free. Because your console is not region locked. Your console is not locked at all. So that's what I did to enjoy myself and pass the time. You just modified your console to do whatever the hell I want. And now with the Wii U, you just made it even more fun because now I can mod the little screen that's like an iPad, do whatever I want with it, and do the same thing to your console and revert it back to Wii settings. So your console is nothing more than just like an extra piece for my computer. It's nothing else. Like, your games are crap. You re-released the exact same games with a new title on it. Really? Like, we wouldn't know? Really? Like, you just made a gigantic Nintendo DS for old people to play. That's it.
Oh, good grief, man. Just bringing the hammer down.
Heaven's the Murgatroyd.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Heaven's the Megatron. Exit. Stage left even.
You got that one down pat, yo. You got that one.
Yo, but our final topic of the day is something that is a near and dear thing to Nelson Rios' heart. Is this tournament that went down in the Caribbean over this past weekend, I believe, and there's accusations of collusion between Chris G and his opponent that they didn't try their best and they actually split the prize pool, and Nelson has more information on that, so I'm going to let him run with it. So go ahead, Nelson, fill us in.
Alright, just to keep up with this topic, I did an earlier video, if you guys have not seen it, on the New Fighting Orders YouTube channel, but to summarize that real quickly, this has been going on longer than it should have. This has been going on ever since I was doing tournaments back in like 2003. So it's been going on for a long time, and a lot of tournament organizers and sponsorships had it to a breaking point. Now, if you guys still don't know or unaware of what I'm speaking about, it's basically when you're in grand finals, you're on a stream, you have at least, let's say, a concurrent amount of views, about anywhere from 3,000 and up. They're expecting to see a ridiculous top player grand finals with the best of the best of skill. One, you're failing to deliver on that, and two, you're bullshitting yourself and everyone around you by playing with a fake matches just so you could get some money in your pocket. I find that kind of depressing because it took to the point where Spooky, which was on a stream last night, he got up to the Xbox, pulled the cord while the players were playing, and said, fuck this shit, I'm packing up, I'm going home. So, if he got to his boiling point, and he's infuriated, imagine of what the sponsors are going to do now if they see the continuation of this happening. That means people might not be getting sponsored. People might not be going to events no more. And then the fighting game community will probably die. So this is just something that just has to stop, even though it's not like, this is not addressed to everyone, but this may potentially mess up fighting games for the future and for people who are wanting to get involved into fighting games if this act keeps up. And a lot of people tend to not care. It's like, oh, it's not a big deal. You know, we do it all the time. But why don't you get a job? Are you really that starved out to get half of $100 for grand finals? Like, are you serious? I make $50 by sitting on my ass when I walk in the door of work. Like, you cannot be that serious. So, something has to be done of it, and I can't wait to see what the sponsors and the tournament organizers do about this, because then this will kind of shut down top players who bullshit around and don't take things seriously, especially at a tournament, whether if it's a weekly or not. And it will basically bring newcomers such as like myself or anyone else that wants to be, you know, a tourney player to have an easier time and not be, you know, overlooked by, oh, this is a joke.
Well, I feel you know what I'm saying, and like, I mean, it's just now starting where like video game players are starting to be accepted as legitimate athletes.
Yeah.
And if this is the accusation, well, not the accusation, but if this is starting to reach a boiling point to where sponsorships and tournament organizers are getting pissed off, you don't want that dark cloud of collusion hanging over it, because then, like, even though it's just a fledgling venture where video game players are starting to be considered legitimate athletes, you don't want them to be looked at as, say, professional wrestlers. Like, oh, it's all scripted, it's all planned. These two know who's gonna do what, and it's just a show for our benefit. Because then, as you said, it like the fighting game community is just starting to come back. Like Street Fighter led that charge, and you got all these spectacular fighting games coming out, and you got developers making fighting games specifically for, like, to get tournament play, to get promotion that way. It's like the easiest form of promotion is to have your game show up at a major tournament. And if you got tournament organizers getting pissed off to the point where they won't hold it, that's loss of revenue, and that's cause for these major companies like Capcom and Microsoft and Sony to, like, you know what? What's the point of making a fighting game if this is how it's going to go down? And so, Newt, what do you think about this, man? What do you think about this very serious problem that the fighting game community is encountering?
How dare they? You guys, come on. It's a tournament. It's a competition. The root word to competition is compete. Compete. You know, how would you all feel if you went to the Super Bowl and they said, you know what, guys, y'all won last year, you should let us win. Or, let's just string the fans along a little bit longer. Like, you all are spearheading something that's bigger than you and that's going to last beyond you. You know what I mean? And, I mean, if all this stuff is true like they say, then, I mean, shame on you. You know what I mean? Like, this is, you're opening the door. You're opening the door. It's hard for gamers to get out there and really have a voice. We had G4 TV at one point in time and Tech TV, and now, you know, it's those stations are very video game light right now. Like, we have no exposure except for on the internet. You know what I mean? But, you know, with streaming tournaments and things like that, we're getting bigger, and hopefully one day we could get back on TV, but we're not going to be able to do that if people think it's a joke. So the only thing I really got to say to you guys, man, is think about, you know, the people outside of yourself. You know what I mean? Sacrifices might have to be made. If your boy is better than you and he drops you at a tournament, then get your game up. I mean, it is what it is. Because my thing is this, like Nelson said, if you're just doing it for the money, go get a job. Like, seriously. Don't mess up something, for the rest of us just because you need money or whatever, man.
Like, another thing that worries me is, like, the dude who runs Major League Gaming came out, which is arguably the world's biggest gaming league, and they have a lot of things, and he was even disappointed in it to the point where he's like, we made, like, because they were starting to look into fighting games and everything, and as one of their big things, because, Major League Gaming does a lot of StarCraft and a lot of League of Legends and stuff like that, and they were looking to fighting games as their next big thing. But he said if this is like what's gonna happen, he doesn't want it to mess up his brand, and he might just pump the brakes real hard on putting fighting games in Major League Gaming. So it's gonna be a huge blow if that's the way he goes. And
yeah, because like we said, we're talking business, man. Like, the gaming industry is $1 billion industry. Let's not get it twisted. Probably more than multi-billion dollar industry. Let's not get it twisted. So when people look at things like the Mizzle just said, about, hey, let's take this to the next level. Let's see what these guys can really do. We can't BS. Us as gamers, we can't BS if people are going to put up the money to put us on TV and give us exposure and we're faking it. Like, then they're going to lose money. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's bigger than, just you guys, man. So, tighten up, yo. Like, do the right thing.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. So, any final thoughts before we jump off the air and release this beast to the masses? New?
Don't ever say release the beast ever. Yeah, I got two last things.
Release the beast.
Back to the point that you were making about Sony and Microsoft competing. And see, this is another thing, I get very deep with this stuff sometimes. But follow me on this, you guys. Think about it. They're competing like almost harder than ever before to get you to get their console. They want you to get their console out of the gate. And the reason they want you to get their console out of the gate, I think at the end of the day, especially these new consoles, they're designed to where they don't want you to want another console. Like, honestly, 360 did that for me. They provided me with so much entertainment and so much good content that even if I had the money to get a PS3, I wouldn't have got one. I wouldn't have, because the 360 did such a good job for my personal preference. And I think the new consoles, that's what they're I know Microsoft, I can say clearly that's their goal. You can stream, you can record, you can chat with friends, you have active matchmaking while you're playing other games, you can integrate it to your TV. If your console can do all of that, when you go to the store and you look at another console, what's going to come to your mind is, why the heck should I buy this if my console at home can already do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? And I think that's why they really, really, really want you to get that console first and to get it now. Because it's like, once you have me, you're not going to want anybody else. And I think that's going to happen to a lot of people. A lot of people who used to buy both consoles, I think that's going to start cutting out, due to the economy and due to what these systems can do now. And most people these days, if you have a good car, there's no reason for you to go out and buy another car. Except just say for the sake of saying, oh, I have 2 cars. So I think that's another reason why they're really competing on this price thing. Because I think, they're going to come out heavy hitting, and both of these consoles are definitely designed to be a one-stop shop. On to another little tidbit I had. I sent an article. I didn't send it to you, DeMizzle, and I don't know if Nelson had a chance to read it, but I sent it to Nelson and Alex. They designed the Xbox One to run for 10 years straight. Like, literally cut the console on and leave it on for 10 years. That is how they designed it, with that, always online thing. So, that boosts my confidence in Microsoft, because that means they really went and did their, research and development and product testing with this thing. And they were talking about how quiet it runs, how cool it runs because of the way that it's designed. So a huge thumbs up to them. If all that research, really pays off. And they said the only time you probably really hear the fan is during gameplay. But that's a huge boost for them to be thinking like that and say, let's build this to last. So that's just another last little tidbit I had there. But other than that, thank you, ladies and
that's what's
gentlemen.
up. That's what's up. Like, just one thing to add on to your thing there. Like, where Microsoft and Sony are competing for our dollars right out of the gate. I haven't seen two companies go at it to get your initial money since Nintendo and Sega back in the day with the Genesis and Super Nintendo. Because in their commercials, they were going at it. Genesis does what Nintendo and all that stuff, blast processing, and it was just back and forth, constant back and forth. And I do agree with you, like, it's gonna be whoever gets your money first, because both systems are going for that. If you get me, you're not gonna want these other guys. So, Nelson, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, I got a couple things to talk about. One, like I said, guys, just when you see this on YouTube, more likely this is where you'll see it first. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to our Twitch.tv channel as well, because we're trying to give back to you guys. We're not just doing this just for the fuck of it or whatever. We're trying to make something of this, trying to expand what we have created and started. So if you can help us out, it's just a simple click of a button to follow or subscribe. That would be all fine and dandy. Also, to keep repeating this time and time again, both Dave as the Mizzle and Noob have their own segments on our YouTube channel, so please check those things out. You have D-Man Plays, and you also have Noob's new video thing where he talks about everyday things with either games or music. It could be anything. But I want you to check those guys out as well, because like I said, they're contributing to us as a team, and we work together. So we don't want anyone to feel, not included. And I know you've been seeing a lot of myself and Alex mainly on that channel. But we're going to expand, and everyone's going to have their own little segment and their own little slot, so you get to know everyone from the team. Also, we will be doing an online tournament. I think as of next week, I want to start doing tournaments again. It will be online only, so it gives the option for people to join us, whether if it's Street Fighter, Tekken, Kings of Fighters. It could be anything, depending on how it's going to get set up. And once we get that, organized and straightened out, we will message y'all on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever we can to get the information and the source out there. So stay tuned for that. And basically, I want you guys also to remember when the launch of, I believe, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 happens, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. Not going to say what, but I'm going to be doing a giveaway to celebrate in the new year with the next-gen consoles. So be on the lookout for Twitter, and you guys might get something special.
Alright, well, one last thing. Like, I know you guys, check us out and contact us on Xbox Live. Hey, we want to play with y'all, but you gotta let us know who you are, man. We don't enjoy seeing just random friend requests. Say who you are, where you know it's from, and your friend request, and you'll be more than likely to have it granted. Because whenever I see a random friend request, I'm like, who's this? And I automatically delete it. So please let us know who you are. Like, say, hey, I listened to the podcast, I'm so-and-so from the podcast. And, hey, I'll be more than happy to accept your request then. But just don't send a friend request and don't say nothing else, because if I don't know you, man, I'm not going to accept it.
Well, unlike the Mizzle, I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you did, as long as you request me. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, let us know who you are.
Tag, yo.
Alright, well, for Nelson Rios, our musical guest, Noob, and myself, D Mizzle for Rizzle, it's the New Fighting Order podcast for August 1st, 2013, and we'll see y'all when we see y'all. Peace.
What the hell, yo?